This whole economy is going to be changing. The product types will be changing. All the services will be changing in the next 30 to 40 years. Wow. 40-year spectrum.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. We're back again today with our guest, Vinney Chopra. Man, over $1 billion in assets under management, over 8,000 doors over his career. He's been in real estate investing over 40 years, just a wealth of knowledge. I know you're going to continue to learn a lot from Vinney today. Vinney, welcome back to the show. Honored to have you again, and just to keep diving in to your focus right now and learning from you in this space of senior living.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Whitney. It's such a pleasure to be back again. I know we were discussing, I was one of your first early ones. You got 1,800 or so episodes. That's the, wonderful show that you do every day, on syndication, on multifamily, on all the different segments. So congratulations to you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinney. I want the listeners to know, go back and listen to yesterday's show in case you didn't. Vinney and I talked a lot about actually how we first met, and just Vinney's generosity and how he's helped so many in this space. But then also he talked a lot about senior living yesterday, and a number of things that he's focused on right now in that space that you need to know. Whether you're active or passive, you should know, you should listen to yesterday's segment before investing in senior living. But Vinney, I want to continue the conversation. And I was thinking about, as you were, so focused on multifamily, and then, you saw this opportunity, I think, to shift into, senior living. And I think it was really good timing, by the way. But how did you prepare your investors for that shift, right? They knew Vinney as, say, a multifamily operator. I get questions like this sometimes. It's like, how do we prepare our investors to move with us to this other asset class or something like that? Maybe some tips on how you did that.
I would love to, brother. I think the biggest thing is, as us, our sponsors or syndicators, we need to have a good pitch deck. And the deck has to have all the reasons, as if I'm investing, I'm a passive investor, what will I like to look into? So I started looking through all the different plethora of information and research and graphs and everything to put them into my PowerPoint presentation. I would love to even provide one PDF if any of the investors would like that.
That'd be great. I'd love to put that in the show notes, Vinney, or link it
that'd
somehow.
be amazing. Yeah, that'll be great. Because why to do again and again? You just take my things and, put them into your PowerPoint presentations. So that was a huge shift, because I had to figure it out myself from workforce housing. What are the benefits in going retirement side? I had to look at the demographic shifts and share with my sponsors, my investors, that we have been doing this workforce housing, which has been good, C+, B, B-, A, like that. But now with the senior trends, with Silver Tsunami, how it's changing, and letting them understand the graphs and the shortage of housing and all that, and how it will be trillions of dollars of business per year. This whole economy is going to be changing. The product types will be changing. All the services will be changing in the next 30 to 40 years. Wow. 40-year spectrum, Yeah. And that's what we put them into the deck. And then I started to educate them. That's how it happened. And then I shared with them also, because I was doing ground up. They were used to getting cash flows as soon as I buy the deals. So I had to tell them and share with them, ground is not making any money. So it's mud, so we will not be able to give you cash flow until the second year, end of second or third year. So all those things had to be thought through for a syndicator mind, put them in writing, put them in a deck, and then you start promoting and going over it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Preparing them for things like no cash flow up front, because that's something I know all of our investors are conditioned to. They assume there's going to be cash flow the first 30 days and every 30 days thereafter, and so that would be a big shift. But I think if you can go back, like you said, and educate them on this opportunity, I don't think for most of them it would be a big deal. They would.
I was able to raise $20 million during COVID, by the way. In 2020, 3 years back, I was able to raise 20 million within 4 months or so. I mean, just the whole picture, because I had prepared very solid PowerPoint presentations and all that was meaningful, and they could see the difference, And then I also did a slide, by the way. Oh my God, you're not going to believe this one. And this was all brainchild of thinking, right? I mean, in the B and C plus class, I wrote down all the things where the concessions have to be given, delinquency, deferred maintenance, all those things, and also the renewal of the leases every 6 months or 7 or 13 months. And then I put on the senior living on this side, brand new, because I was constructing brand new, no deferred maintenance, no concessions, no delinquency. Money is coming into your bank on the very first, second, third day. And it's a necessity on this side. On the workforce housing, if they lose the job, they have to leave it. But most of the seniors stay in the facility for 30 months, 30, unless the situation gets bad. They go to rehab center or hospital, then they come back again. So all those things, I put them on this side, positives. That slide was a big hit, I remember.
Yeah, because it's probably rare that they move unless there's some kind of really poor management,
service,
right?
yeah,
Poor care.
service, exactly. They become a community in itself. That's the beauty of it, because we put movie theater in there, so their friends can come and watch on the big screen their show. I mean, not movie every day, but shows they like to have, grand piano with the artists coming from outside every week, or playing in the evening time, and then library people sitting there and bringing their own books into the library and reading them, and billiard rooms and all these different nice things. And then spa. So we built the spa and the salon for the bath and other stuff if they want to enjoy, swimming pools and having daily exercise routine. So it's a little different, quite a bit different than apartment complex where people go to work. They leave the home and they go to work. In the senior livings, they are camaraderie. They get to know each other, and they build that, void that they have living alone. They become friends and family and eat breakfast, and then cook to order lunch and cook to order, dinner and snacks in the bistro, all those things.
They care a lot more about community than any multifamily property, don't they?
So true. So true.
What about shifting gears a little bit? What about the financing for senior living? Is that different than multifamily? Any thoughts around the financing?
That has been a tough lesson for me, actually, and my partner too, because COVID hurt us. And what happened was, like, people were giving construction loans much quicker, the local banks and others and institutions. But with the COVID, they got a little bad rap, and we had difficulty getting the loans, which is very difficult. I mean, essential for the buildup. It's very, very essential. So I have learned a big lesson that we need to have the permits intact, and then also the construction loan intact before I raise money. And that's my modus operandi right now, that I don't raise any money until I have those two things. The other thing was, in the COVID, some of the building departments shut down. The permitting and everything shut down. Some people left the job. Some people even died. So those kind of things. But you're right. Construction loans are higher, like 7.5%, 8.5% construction loans. But then you want to reposition. As you do it for about 2 years, interest only construction loan, we call it. And then after that, it's a 1 year stabilization, 9 months to a year. And then the value of the property goes way high, NOI. That's when you refinance. Or many banks will turn that construction loan into a permanent financing, they call it also. So that way, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's helpful for sure. I just financing has definitely changed our world a lot over the last couple of years, right?
It has.
What would you say is for the passive investor listening, and this would apply, I guess, for the operators as well, but what's the biggest risk for senior living, right? For investing in senior living?
Oh, investing in senior living, definitely, the big thing is you want to make sure that these are not your last dollars. I mean, you want to put the money, it's a 3 to 5 years spectrum, sometime even 7 year spectrum. So you want to make sure you're using your retirement money if you are self-directed, or your cash. The other part is you got to definitely be looking at what insurances the sponsor has, what's their track record, and how would they deal with, who's going to manage the asset. That's a big one. Not only just the real estate, it's also operation. So that's a big thing also, very huge thing, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Is there anything specific that you would ask for, say, for the third party manager? Let's say as a passive investor,
Oh,
if I was looking
totally.
to invest, anything that I would ask for concerning the property manager, themselves, that you wouldn't maybe normally know about, like multifamily or anything
That's
different
a
there?
very good point, Whitney. I mean, most of us sponsors, over the last 16 years, I've done 40 deals. But you're right. The investor should ask who's going to manage. In my case, I was vertically integrated, 158 people on my staff, every 2 weeks, right? I was doing the payroll, never missed a beat. But then we were having a huge $1 billion portfolio. Now we have gone down. So we use third party now, Bell Partners, Ram Partners, Greystones, nice RPM, all these big companies. They have billions of dollars under their management. We look at and interview their regionals and their property management, all that. So it's very good for investors to ask that. Please ask, because it's not just the real estate that you're buying, it's what you do with the real estate to bring the cash flow and the value add and the increase in NOI. It happens after the keys are given in the sponsor's hand, I call it. All these projections are hanky dory, but who's going to manage that asset is very important, very important. And how the cost cutting will come, how the business plans will be instituted and implemented, how we're going to be getting the reports on everything, transparency, all those, right?
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate you encouraging the listeners to ask, right? Who's managing it? Maybe this is a good time too. One thing you mentioned before we even started recording, you said I'm not the expert, and I would beg to differ. By the way, Vinny's definitely an expert in these spaces in commercial real estate. But you said you build teams of experts, right? And that's how you're doing this so well and moving so fast. And maybe how have you found some of the experts to bring onto your team?
I appreciate that very much. And when people have asked me that, my main thinking is, you send out the law of attraction, law of abundance thinking. Of course, mindset is so important. I've been sending signals out with intentions that, I want to find somebody who would be able to help me to get me to the next level. So finding strategic partner is huge. Cybersecurity company, for example, I'm an angel investor in that one. I found a great CEO who took one company to NASDAQ and sold it. And that was his passion, to start a cybersecurity company. I'm so happy to say that in 4 years, it's becoming a very big company now, clouddefense.ai. Then I wanted to have in the senior living, I partnered with my partner who came from another country and built, like, for 9 years senior assisted livings, many of them, like 27 to 30 of them. So I partnered with them. Now hospitality is my other, where I'm very focused right now also, along with senior assisted living. Hospitality had gone down in the COVID. Nobody was traveling, afraid and everything. Now it's back up and even higher than what it was in the COVID time. People are going out, the ADRs, average daily rates are growing. So what I'm trying to say is, found another strategic partner with my partners, where we are doing this fund, $100 million fund right now for hospitality alone. And we found a strategic partner sending out signals again. You come and you meet and you go further and you further, then people find out you like to be in that field. They introduce you to other people. That's how the work is. It's not a solo game. I always say commercial investing is a team sport. And I'm so happy to meet with the hospitality partners who have been in business for over 25 years, who have built 78 hotels, Marriott's, Hyatt's, IHG's, just the name brand, not the non-name brand, just the name brand ones. So I'm very, very excited about that, which is again, hotel, Whitney, is like an apartment. It's a unit upstairs, but the tenant or the resident, I call it, they pay at the counter for 4 days, 5 days. I like extended stays, in my side, but they pay upfront and then they go and have a great experience in the room or the suite or like that. So it's like a multifamily to another level. So hospitality also fits my thinking. And then the thing is, I'm not locked in with a lease of 6 months or a year, which is in multifamily. But in this one, the ADR, average daily rate, is daily rate. And it's 5 different rates changes in a night. If the demand is more, the rates automatically go up, through artificial intelligence. So it's amazing how similarity it is, which we are doing in apartments also. In our apartments, we use the services where, depending on the demand of that area where the resident is looking at, the lease amounts go up every day, up and down. So it's amazing, how this whole world is going to change. I mean, just AI is going to transform every industry.
So make sure you book your rooms way in advance, right?
That's so true. So true. Don't
All right,
wait till
Vinney.
the last moment.
A few final questions here towards the end. Vinney, what are some of the most important metrics that you track? Could be personally or professionally.
I really look at demographical shifts, definitely, all these different trends. I look at the past and then the trends. I really dig into the locations more and more and more. Once I make my mind to it, then there's no telling. Then I go out and then start talking to brokers, texting them, try to get an off-market deal from a listing broker. I only have bought everything from listing broker because I feel the temperature of the seller on this side and the listing broker, when I come right next to it, I'm a broker myself in California, but I've not sold or bought. But what I find is that there is no vacuum. And the listing broker knows the values and the bottom lines of the seller intentions of selling. So when I come here, he becomes dual agency. He's representing the seller and the buyer. And he only makes commissions when the property is sold at the right price and right timeline and everything. So that has been my secret and I've closed on every single deal, Whitney, from 16 years, from letter of intent to final closing, every single 100% record.
Good for you. That's awesome. A great track record. Vinney, what about any habits you're disciplined about that have produced a high return for you?
I would say definitely positive thinking. I've written the book, Positivity Brings Profitability. I'm coming out with the newest edition, which has got 92 more pages to it. Second edition. That'll be, I really believe in miracle morning with Hal Elrod. I talk about it a lot. In the morning, we got to realign ourselves, and gratitude is a big thing. Of course, reading, chanting, and exercising every day is a big thing. I walk 7 days a week, 3.5 miles every day. I mean, it could be 7 o'clock or 8 or 10, whenever I have free time in my day. And then having a passion to live each day, every day to the best, and giving the best to every meeting that I come in. Don't worry about the past. I really believe in this over here. This might be great, brother. And what is this? This is the future right over there. And this is the present right over here. And this is the past. So in the hourglass, as the sand moves, the future is going through the present. Only thing we need to be concentrating is right here, just here. Because if we take care of the present, then the future will be bright, because future is dependent on what we do here, and past, we should learn from it, but you can't change it. I even talk about past, think about ashes. If you burnt lots of pages of paper where your past was there, And you want to then now hold those ashes and all that and smother all your hands metaphorically will be black. And if you start thinking a lot more about it and you put in your mind and your face and everything, now you got black all over your face and your this thing. So please remember that indelible impression. You don't want to really live in the past. You learn from it. And then you take decisions to move to the present, which future will take care. A lot of time we spend so much time, how the future is not going to be what I want. But you know what? A lot of negative thinking comes because we don't have more positive thoughts in our mind. Our brain is so small. I explained that in the book, actually even more succinctly, my second edition, how to really take the negatives out and make room for the positives. Because by having that shift, it's going to change your outlook. It's change your, living in the law of attraction, law of abundance, and law of reciprocity. I mean, all those laws are there, whether we believe in them or don't. They don't care, but they are there. But if we start believing in them, we'll get to a better place.
Vinney, you're probably one of the most, if not the most positive person I know. So I don't think you have any trouble there, but I know it didn't come just out of nowhere, right? You have worked on that and it's a daily thing. You know, you talked about working on this every morning, right? And,
yes.
And so I just appreciate just the reality there too. But Vinney, thank you again just so much for your time coming back. And it's been 2 years. And so great to catch up with you, but really, raise more awareness to us and listeners, right, on senior living, and even thinking through that as a passive investor, but maybe also as an operator. You know, this asset class that's getting talked about a little more. But you talked about 65 people, or the age of 65, 10,000 people every day, right? Turning 65, and so it's an asset class that no doubt is going to grow, right?
Yes.
I mean, by no means we can't help but get older. That's for sure. And so I just appreciate your willingness to do that and share what you're learning, Vinney, and teaching us so much. Tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you, Vinney, again, but also learn about your book about senior living as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My book should be launched in about a few days. Actually, 440 pages. I put a lot of heart and soul. 2 years it took me to write that one. Then my positive book is relaunching again, also on Amazon. It was a top seller before. Hopefully, all my readers will love the new content in my second edition, make it top seller also. And my third book, which was the first one in 2019 that I published, was Apartment Syndication Made Easy. Of course, my podcast, Apartment Syndication Made Easy, every week. I also have 2 shows now that I do. One is Abundance Mindset with Vinney Chopra live show at 9 a.m. on Thursday mornings. I do, and we make reels and videos and everything. Then I do a show, Vinney and Bo show, on Fridays live also every week. So there are several ways. And I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere.
Thank you for being with us again today. I hope that you have learned a lot from the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you're telling your friends about the Real Estate Syndication Show and how they can also build wealth in real estate. You can also go to lifebridgecapital.com and start investing today.